when I went to this prep school at 7, 8, that was 1976, and really, comedy wasn't like a career. There were I can't remember, there were the two Ronnies, there was Morecambe and Wise, but Dave Allen was a proper stand-up, although he'd sit down with a glass of whiskey. And his son, Eddie Allen, who I think went on to be Johnny Vaughan's writing partner, was in my year at school. And so Dave Allen twice came to school and sort of for our whole year would sit in the common room, and he'd just sit in a chair with a cigarette and a glass of whiskey, and he'd just do his thing, you know. But I didn't think of that as stand-up because he would just talk, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of anti-Pope stuff and things.
Yes,
but God, he was amazing. He was incredible.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that was quite cool.
Yeah.
So that's the other introduction I had to comedy. Dennis Pennis was the other reason I'm in comedy. We can talk about that as well.
Do you know what? I that hadn't crossed my mind, but there is a kind of crossover there.
100%. And the crossover is that just
Paul Kay,
who I think is a genius.
Yeah. I was obsessed with Dennis
Pennis. So the two things that happened, and then again another sliding doors moment. Cameras changed. That was the big fucking moment. The reason Trigger Happy happened when it happened, if Trigger had happened 3 years before, I couldn't have used Sam because he didn't know how to use cameras. You know, we were just pointing and shooting. But just that year, a thing called the VX1000 came out. It was a Sony camera for £1,000. We bought it and then rented it back to the production. Well, Sam did because he's smarter than I am. And it just meant that we could go and shoot. It was the first YouTube, really, because before that, you'd have to hire an old cameraman and a sound man, and they would wander around with their massive cameras, and they'd want a tea break, and we'd never been able to do it, whereas we just drove around doing all sorts of stuff. But just before that, I was obsessed with Dennis Pennis. Dennis Pennis was the first kind of guerrilla thing, and he used to turn up. Dennis Pennis, people don't know, he used to turn up. He used to just sit there. He laid out his stall right at the beginning of his show. He said, in the old days, stars were stars. You could talk to stars.
Yeah.
Now, every star is boring as fuck, don't say anything, and they have PRs. He goes, now, if you're paying a PR, the first job your PR should do is to stop people like me asking your client a question, and then bang, he'd be on the red carpet.
Yes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're the biggest name in showbiz. 87 letters, man. Or Tom Hanks, you made the ultimate space movie. I went into the cinema, there was no atmosphere, you know, all that stuff. It was so good.
Yeah.
I loved him. And I knew someone who was his producer on the Sunday show where he started, where he did his little bits, and they said, we need a segment on a roof. And I had a roof of my flat. And so one day, I come home, Dennis Pennis is in my flat, and then I take him onto my roof, and I'm trying to keep my head together because I'm such a big fan, and he films this scene that was an extra for his DVD, where basically
Video?
Yeah, his video.
It
was a video then.
It would have been VHS.
It was VHS.
I had the VHSs.
In it, he's an
mid-90s, right?
He's an Arsenal fan or something, and he kicks the football off my roof, and it flies across London
had that video.
And goes into the goal. Yeah,
I had that video.
Yeah. Well, that was my roof.
Oh my God.
So it's got green railings.
Wow.
That was my roof.
In that video, he I think he's in Cannes at the end of the video. He
runs into the lamppost.
And I learnt how to do that.
I did that. So he taught me so much stuff. So he was massive for that, because I remember thinking, oh my, he can do it. And then my life got so weird that we actually coincided on a hit. And there was a queue. So just as I was starting at Paramount Comedy Channel, I had this character called Hey Hippo. I got a hippo puppet,
For Trigger?
No, this is pre-Trigger, when I'm at Paramount Comedy Channel.
Yeah.
And so this is almost the very first thing I did. Before I'd met Sam, and I had this hippo character, and I used to film myself. So, I'd film it and go, hey, guys. And I go, hey, Hippo here. And I'd pretend that Hey Hippo was a massive children's TV star. Mm-hmm. And he'd be go, hey, kids, so today we're going to go meet Billy Idol. And then I'd queue up for people. And I had a chat with Billy Idol. And the only joke I'd ever do, I did Billy Idol, Bill Wyman, all these people. And I'd go, hey, Billy, how are you? And he goes, oh, hey, Hippo. Because I'd explained to them before. I go, look, I'm really sorry. It's just me doing this. And would you mind this Hippo's a massive thing for English TV, for kids TV. So I'm there with Billy Idol, and Billy Idol's like, huh? And I'm like, hey, Billy, are you a big fan of me? He goes, well, yeah, I love you. He goes, really? You watch the Hey Hippo show? He goes, oh, yeah, I do. Really? What channel am I on? There'd just be total silence. And Billy Idol looked like a twat, and I'd feel really bad because all he'd been trying to do was be nice, and I'd made him, and I just hated myself. But anyway, this all culminated when the Harrods sale was about to start. And when the Harrods sale starts, Mohammed Al Fayed would invite a massive celebrity to open the Harrods sale. And I knew from my inside info that opposite Harrods there's a little Mews square and there's the Harrods stables. And what happens every year is whoever the celebrity is gets put in a horse-drawn cart, gets taken around the square, and then comes out opposite Harrods, gets out, shakes Mohammed Al Fayed's hand. And I know it's Barry Manilow this year, yeah? So I'm like, we're going to get the fucking Manilow. And someone's tipped me off. So I go down with my little Hey Hippo thing, just feeling like a twat. And I get there really early, only to find another camera crew already there. It's Dennis Pennis. So there's now...
Oh, my God.
There's a queue of people waiting to get Barry Manilow, yeah. And he looks at me, he doesn't recognise me from the roof, you know, and I look at him, I'm just in shock because it's Dennis Pennis, and he just looks, and I'm just got this hippo, yeah. I'm just so ashamed of what I'm doing.
How old are you at that point?
I'm 30.
Okay, right, yeah.
But it's like right at the beginning. This is like this is 2 years before Trigger Happy, you know.
Yeah.
And then he says, you better go first. So, you know, Barry Manilow comes out and starts going out. So I go, okay. So I'm running next to this horse-drawn cart with trying to film me and Barry Manilow and this hippo. I go, Mr. Manilow, do you watch the Hey Hippo show? And all I can see is his nose like that, and he's just ignoring me. And I just fuck up monumentally and just peel away in shame. And then literally it's like almost Dennis Pennis, hold my beer here. Yeah. He starts running after Manilow, and he's got this massive sheet, this white sheet. I don't know what he's doing. And he runs out. He goes, Mr. Manilow, you dropped your handkerchief. I was just like, that's so beautiful. It's amazing. I'm even in the opening titles. He did a proper show, Dennis Pennis. It might have been for the VHS, but it's him waiting outside a nightclub and people coming out of bins and stuff. Right. I'm one of those people. So I was a massive fan, still am.
So for people, just in case there's anyone, and they've probably Googled it now and they're all up to date, but he would be more known today for playing the therapist in Afterlife, Ricky Gervais's Afterlife.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
He was also in Game of Thrones. Like, he became,
yes, he was.
For ages.
He's fantastic in Game of Thrones. He's a great actor.
He's a great actor, although he just constantly he even had his own sitcom at one stage, or he'd appear in some BBC drama, but always as the sort of punky new age traveller. He couldn't get away from that sort of punky thing because he almost looks like he's on speed all the time. Did you used to like the extra bits? He had that New York lawyer on the V8.
Oh, so on the video,
called,
the other characters.
Yeah, other characters. I really liked them. I thought they were amazing.
I can't remember them.
You should get Paul Kane anyway. I'm not going to waste my valuable airtime talking about him.
That's a good, yes, he's too good. That's a good idea. I'd love to have him on.
Oh, he's a genius. I love him.
So, all right, I want to get you. We had a little break.
Yeah, we did.
And you said
I just melted, started weeping and stuff. It's all been quite a lot.
Well, actually, what happened was you said. You asked me to say the word prawn to you, and that would remind you of another for the beauty.
I mean, I hate one of the things about For the Beauty is that really it was for us. Like it wasn't to, but it's so long ago now, and I'm so proud of them that I feel I should just explain to people what made us laugh.
Absolutely.
And this was another one. We used to get our costumes from lots of different places. Mainly, there were Ponzi costumiers like Angels and Burmans where I'd just go, look, I need a milkman costume. I need it now. And you go in and they go, Gerald will set up a fitting for you. You go, we don't want a fucking fitting. Just give us a fucking milkman outfit. Or there was a place called Escapade on Camden High Street, which was like a fancy dress. So we'd go and get the...
It's still there? Escapade.
No, it's gone. Almost all costume shops are gone now because everyone can buy a costume 14 quid online and then it goes. But we used to get the dogs there, the fighting dogs, and I'd turn up and on a Monday and someone would have rented them for a stag party and hurled in, vomited into the head and he'd put it on, it would stink. But then occasionally, if we wanted specific costumes, there was some, we had to go a bit further afield. And there was one in Finchley, I remember, and let me get this right, the right way around. Yeah, we wanted a prawn costume, yeah? I had this great, it was a joke I always wanted to do, and I never managed to do it, which, not a prawn, but it was basically go up to one of, no, I'm going to do that later. So I needed this prawn costume.
Okay.
So we ring up and they say, yeah, we've got a prawn costume, we've got a very good prawn costume actually. You go, brilliant. So we send up the runner to get it, comes back, and it's pink, but we all look at it for quite a long time, and then we go, all right, I don't know if you're thinking what I'm thinking, but why doesn't someone put it on and we'll get 6 people come in and they can tell us what they think this is, because I don't think this is a prawn, yeah? And so 5 people came in, and 4 said, it's a weird-looking pig, maybe. Like, it wasn't clear what this thing was,
Okay,
basically.
yeah.
But it definitely wasn't a fucking prawn. It was nowhere near a prawn. So we ring this guy up, and he's got, the runner had already said he's got quite a short temper, this guy. And we rang him up, and we said, hello, we're ringing from Trigger Happy TV. He goes, what do you want? Your guy's just been. I said, well, that's exactly the problem, really. He's just come back with a prawn costume. Yeah, you've taken the prawn costume, and we're filming that today. It's just that we've sort of had a vote around the office, and the general consensus is that it's a pig. We're just wondering whether there's been a mistake and you've given us the pig costume instead of the prawn costume. He goes, you fucking joking? Of course I fucking haven't. I haven't got a pig costume. That's a prawn costume. So we go, well, I don't want to be rude. He goes, do you know how long I've been in the business? He's like, 30 years. No one's ever complained about one of my costumes. I go, look, I don't care, but I've got to do a joke involving a prawn, and if I'm wearing a pig, it's not going to fucking work. And he puts the phone down. So that was it. For the rest of the time we filmed Trigger Happy, at least once a week, we would ring up this guy in different accents, and we go, hello, and he go, yeah, hello, whatever, Finchley Road. I go, hello, I'm doing a French sitcom here in the country, and we need various costumes. We need a dog, a cat, and we need a pig costume. Do you have these 3? And he goes, and the guy would go, I have a dog, I have a cat, I don't think, no, we don't have a pig costume. And then I'd pause for a bit and go, I have been told you have a prawn costume that maybe could pass for a pig. He goes, it's you again, like that. We would just do it over and over again. And when Sam and I got back together for these 25th anniversary things, and we started filming, we started going back to old costume shops. And so we rang him up, and unfortunately they've just gone bankrupt, so we couldn't do it, because I'd love to have done it 25 years later, but just like the longest delayed joke. But I mean, just saying these things make me realize that they're not funny to anyone else, but when you're in the van and you're like,
I don't think that's true. I think those people would I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Well, it's about dedication to the bit.
Yes.
It's dedication, and it's the longer you leave it and the more you do it, the funnier it is. And I liked it because we weren't doing it for anyone else. We weren't filming those.
Do you know what, by the way, it kind of astounds me is that you're lucky to have this kind of sliding doors moment where Sam is at the bar in Primrose Hill and says, "Oh, I could do I could do the kind of work." But what is almost more remarkable is you seem to have this chemistry.
It's insane
with this man, and that you're so.
I mean, we split up. He left me when I went to the BBC. We were driving together one day, and he just said, "I'm leaving." And we'd signed a deal. I went 50-50 with him on everything. We did a deal we had a 3-series deal at the BBC, and he left after my spoof chat show, which was just a disaster because no one realised I was playing a character. They just thought, God, Dom Joly's a cunt.
The character it was Dom Joly.
It was called This Is Dom Joly. And my wife's
character was Dom Joly. Well, it was called Dom Joly.
Well, I wore glasses, and I was clearly just a wanker in it, and it was supposed to be like I was.
Do you think maybe you should change it?
Well, my wife said to me, she said, "You've got to call it This Is John Dolly, or something." She goes, and I said, "No, I want 20% of the people watching it." This is off the back of Trigger Happy, where everyone had seen me in every scene, but they didn't know who I was.
No,
and so I thought I want 20% people watching this, thinking, fucking hell, this is a car crash. And the other 80% getting that this was taking the piss out of all those people that get big and get a chat show. I'd say it was 90% people thinking, God, this is a car crash and this guy's a cunt. The Mirror had a whole page saying, is this the worst chat show in the history of Britain? Because I had some breakfast TV presenter on, and all I asked him over and over again was, what time do you get up in the morning? Because I didn't care. And I sang a duet with Marianne Faithfull, where in the middle of the duet of
I see how this is.
I fell through the stage and stuff like that, but it was so fucking obvious. But
yes,
but I was out of control at that stage. I had no idea what I was doing.
But that's how.
But anyway, Sam,
that's very funny.
Yeah, it was funny, but it was not. I'm not very comfortable when things are going well, and I don't fit in. So I'm much happier when I'm the outsider, when I'm like the.
Are you talking about self-sabotage? People like to call it. Yeah,
not purposefully. I think I'm happier being the sort of plucky outsider, the little rebel,
more comfortable.
Whereas when you get big fame, but I found I didn't like it at all. I don't like being at that level because the only way is down.
Right. Okay.
And we've done that.
Right, so let's go back to a quote that we often use when I'm just talking to people on here.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the Aristotle quote of give me a child until the age of 7 and I will show you the foundations of the man. You know this quote?
I do.
Yes. Yeah. And so the question I put to you is, and I don't know what you're going to say here really, is that if Aristotle sees 7-year-old Dom, can he put together what you're going to go on to do?
Yeah, I think so. But and this is something I don't want to mention because it just makes me sound like such a ponce. But I had a nanny, yeah, and I had a...
yeah, I mean, I think we could figure that out.
Yeah. But it's not like a... But I didn't have a sort of... I didn't have a Rees-Mogg type nanny, you know, like I had this... So my parents were posh, obviously.
Yeah.
My dad was very repressed, but did have a sense of humour. And he sort of had this artistic urge, which I was into. My mum was artistic. She was a painter, but didn't, a bit repressed as well. But they got me this nanny called Sylvia Holland, and she'd left school. She'd gone to a comp in Shropshire, left school at 14, never formal education, but she did the Times crossword every morning, smoked like a chimney. She taught me everything because my parents didn't bring me up. She did.
Yeah.
And I think my sense of humour is from her. So very weirdly, at the age of 7, because she had to go when I went to boarding school, I think my 7-year-old character is a weird triangle of my dad, my mum, and most importantly, the dry, sarcastic humour is from this woman who has nothing to do with my family.
Yeah.
I'd say that's incredible for me.
Did you get to say... Well, obviously you didn't know you were going to boarding school. Was there some sort of goodbye?
No goodbye.
Oh, that's heart-wrenching.
No, it was unbelievable. Yeah, but she's my nanny. Like I used to see her all the time,
yes.
And then I was there when she died. And I said thank you to her when.
Oh, you did?
In her dying breath, which I didn't even see my parents die. So it's very weird. Yeah.
Oh well, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what?
I think it was the wrong person, but no, I mean genuinely, I still slightly worry. Oh, it's awful. I went. She got sepsis. She got something terrible in the hospital.
Yeah.
And when I got there, they told me it was her. But her face had swollen so badly. I'm not sure it was her. I think it was her. So anyway, I definitely said thank you to somebody.
Yes.
I'm hoping it was her. I really genuinely...
This sounds like something from Trigger Happy
No,
now,
I know.
So
I just feel so bad about it because I just thought... Because I could see this person almost protesting. And I think my nanny would have protested. Like, oh, don't be silly. But also someone might be just saying... I don't know who the fuck you are. Are you Dom Joly? Because the Trigger Happy had just come out. I don't want to be on telly. I don't know. The whole thing was so awkward.
Yes.
Yeah. And then when I went to her funeral, her relatives came out and asked me not to do the big mobile at the funeral. Like I was going to...
What?
Yeah, like I was going to do that. I mean, it was just fucking strange. That's when I knew the world had gone a bit weird. Yeah. I go, oh, come on, just a quickie. Just a couple of notes. Hello!
Oh, my God, right. Yeah. Well, what was it you were... Why at 7?
Sorry, that was the other thing about that football show I keep coming back to.
What, the one you did earlier today?
Yeah, the buzzers, yeah. One buzzer was hello, and the other buzzer was my ringtone. I'm just like, fucking let it go. It was 25 years ago.
Oh my God, you really can't.
It was insane. In total, that big mobile, I've done 9 minutes of it in my life, 9 minutes. Every fucking day, some cunt, just coming in here now, right outside the Savoy, someone went, hello, I'm in London, it's rubbish. And I'm just like, why are you doing that like that? And they go, I'm on the phone. I never said I'm on the phone. Never said that in my life. At least get my fucking quote right. But anyway.
Okay. Do you wish you hadn't done the phone?
No, I love it. But it is a bit weird when you realise, I mean, it is a big problem for me, is I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, because I would never... I've never...
Well, you're a master of what... So that's not true. Well, okay, you're a master of what you...
I probably was a master of... I was a master of...
What would you call it? Sorry, what do you want me to call it?
Hidden camera.
Hidden camera. You're a master of hidden camera.
I am a master of hidden camera. I actually have now realised that, but because I think I was treating it a bit like music again, when Trigger Happy got to the end of its second series, I thought, I want to just finish it I want the band to stop.
Yeah.
I just want to stop with these 2 perfect albums, which they kind of were. And then I spent 18 years just doing all sorts of other stuff. Now, I've written books, which I'm really proud of my books, but I've also done a lot of other stuff that's not been great. And I just think, why am I doing all this? Like, why am I not just doing my 100,000 hours and making my hidden camera even better and better and better? Which is why it's quite weird now to suddenly be doing it again with Sam. And it just fits like a glove. And everyone kept saying to me, oh, you can't do it now. You do it on the street now, you get fucking stabbed. Like, everyone's woke. You couldn't do it.
Yes, yeah.
And actually you can. And I think I'm almost funnier now. The only different thing now doing hidden camera, even though you didn't ask, is...
No, but it's interesting.
Is we started off by people saying you couldn't do that now. When I was just showing clips from Trigger Happy to highlight, we did 4 big, massive, like, reunion shows, which started the tour I'm about to do. And I put these clips out, and any time I put one in London, the traffic warden, people would go, oh, London's fallen, you get stabbed 4 times, you couldn't do that. And I thought, really? And so we actually went and did 4 classic Trigger Happy jokes. The traffic warden, the old sea dog, the guy goes into the building merchant and with a list of just nonsense, Portuguese fist buns and stuff.
Yeah.
And we did them on exactly the same spot 25 years later.
Cool.
And they're funnier. Like, they work perfectly well. The only difference is when we did the traffic warden, the setup was that we had a car where we'd put 100 parking tickets on it, and then I'd put 4 clamps, 1 on each wheel.
Yeah.
And he's showing off that this is Britain's first quadra clamp, where you have to get each clamp released at a different payment up, which, it cost you 12 grand, which is not far off where we are right now. And you realise between us setting up the car and me about to come in and start talking to people, about 100 people come up with their phones, filmed it, put it out, and you're kind of like, that's my joke. What the fuck are you doing? It was like a theft of material. If I'd have done the snail now, about 20 people would have filmed that. When it came out, they go, oh, I've seen that ages ago.
Yes.
So that you have to do that in a different way. But
have you solved that?
Yeah, you just do it in quieter places. Like we filmed, it's really simple. We filmed it near Leicester Square, the first one. And we go, don't be stupid, just go and do it down a small road. That's it. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So it's easy. Yeah.
So when you were 7, and you think that Aristotle would be able to kind of see what you're going to go on and do with your life, what was it about you as a 7-year-old that he would have?
I think I was a really weird blend of things, because I was really clearly screwed up, but I was smart, and I had a sort of definite need to express, but I didn't know what I was expressing. It's very odd.
Yeah.
I think I've always known I wanted to say something, but actually it's weird because even in my comedy, I don't say anything. Like I do in my books, because I go and I observe, but I'm not a Stuart Lee, I'm not making political, smart political points and stuff.
Yeah.
And in fact, on social media, all I do is become this, even though I'm not on the left, I'm a centrist, this sort of left wokey, just riling people. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Comedy should just be stupid. Like, comedy should be non-political to an extent.
Yeah.
Comedy should just be fun. Like,
but
I don't know.
But politics is
our
something
life.
it's our life, but it's something that you worked in.
Yeah, I know.
So,
well, it's weird because I'm not political, but I'm political in that I'm obsessed with politics. Like, I worked for ITN in Westminster. I had a pass into the House of Lords, House of Commons for 2 years. I was a political producer. I was a diplomat.
Okay.
I fucking love...
How the hell did you... So everything you've just said there, when did it become apparent that's where you were going to go in your life?
So when I finished university...
Sorry, did I get this right? You were studying...
Arabic and politics at the School of Oriental and African Studies,
Right.
And when I finished that... I went off to Paris for a year, did a year off in Paris. I worked at the International Herald Tribune and Chicago Pizza Pie Factory, so one each. And then I came back, I had no idea what I was going to do, but I kind of loved music. I thought I wanted TV, and so I applied for a job as a runner at MTV, and I got a job at MTV. And it not as glamorous as it sounded.
How do you apply for a job at MTV back then?
Because I knew where it was, and I went in every day and just said, I'll do anything, and I want to work here. And in the end, they put me in the kitchen, so I was making sandwiches for their edit suites. And I knew that I could work my way up, and that soon I'd be in MTV.
That's quite a lot. Can I just say that's quite a lot of? I think that's quite a lot of self-belief.
I've got self-belief.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. I just do. Partly,
could that be boarding school?
Partly boarding school, but I know a lot of people at boarding school that don't have self-belief, and I have a lot of not self-belief in other things.
Sure,
but I just think I think people think people hand things to you on a plate when you go to boarding school, which is a very fair point.
I wasn't implying. No, but I wasn't.
No, but I'm saying it's the flip side.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do get handed that. I knew that I wasn't going to get handed anything to me. You know, like my parents had no connection with show business or like that was a disappointment like that. So if I wanted stuff, I had to go and get it.
Yeah, because your dad wasn't going to let you be part of the shipping agents.
No, and I didn't want to be. No, and you know, he wasn't going to ring up. You know, a lot of people I know at school, you know, it's like, oh, you want to get into that? Do you? I'll ring Freddie, you know, and all that shit.
Yeah,
I don't know any of that.
Okay,
I mean, it's the first place where going to a public school was actually a disadvantage. I remember when we were interviewing for runners for Trigger Happy. I'll probably get sued for this, but all the CVs came in, and one guy got a fucking Eton. And I was just like, there's no way I'm giving someone for Eton a fucking runner. Like, what are you fighting? He turned up and he goes, one of the great I said, what can you bring to us like that? He goes, well, one of the great things is my father has a house around the corner, so I've actually got residence parking out here. So we could use that for the filming. And I'm just like, Sam and I was like, go fuck yourself, fuck off. So no, we didn't. It was incredible.
That's excellent.
I can't remember what we were talking about.
I was wondering how you got from university into that course.
So I finally think, I think I found something I want, because I was told, my dad told me very early on, he said, you'll only really be able to change your job once. You need to find what you do, because his whole life was like you find a job and you that's your job for life. And I knew jobs for life were going, like disappearing. And he said you need to just find a job and stick at it. And I said, but a job is like what I do the whole time. So I want my job to be something I enjoy. He goes, no, you do a job to make money to do what you enjoy. And I said, I fundamentally disagree with you. And I knew that early on. So then I said, I want to do these things. So I got the job as a runner and I thought, this is shit. I'm making sandwiches, but I'm in. Like, I'm going to go up.
Yeah.
And weirdly, I started in the same day as the drummer from my band, who did go the whole way through, and he ended up as an editor doing Trigger Happy later. But just as I was getting through my 6 months of making sandwiches, I get a phone call, and it's a woman. I remember her name. She's called Beatrice. And she said, hello, I'm ringing from the European Commission delegation in Prague. This is 6 months after the Velvet Revolution, after the walls come down, the Iron Curtains come down. She goes, we've got your application and you've got a job here in Prague. And I go, what? And I realised that when I was at uni, because I was doing languages, and I thought, what the fuck am I going to do? Someone said, you should send your CV out to the European Commission because they give people internships because you speak languages. So I'd filled this thing out and I'd completely forgotten about it. It had gone off and it takes so long to filter through. And it had somehow got there. So anyway,
years later.
No, a year later.
Okay.
So I go downstairs. So I go, well, thank you very much. And so I go downstairs and I say to the woman running this place, Edit Facilities in Hawley Crescent, I go, I'm going to leave. I got another job. She goes, you got another runner's job. I go, no, I'm off to be a diplomat in Prague. So I went out and I was a diplomat in Prague for like 9 months. I had diplomatic immunity. It was a fucking incredible time when professional politicians hadn't taken over Prague yet, because the opposition in Prague were poets. Václav Havel and stuff. Lou Reed and Frank Zappa were honorary consul. Crazy time. So when I came back to England, suddenly on my CV it says fucking diplomat in Prague. Yeah, and I go, well, I'm not going back to making sandwiches. So I went to Westminster and I applied for a job at ITN. And I got a job as a runner, and then I became a producer at ITN because I was into politics. Because that looked incredible on my CV.
Yeah. But actually, this is kind of off course.
Very off course.
So how did it wasn't?
No, it wasn't.
Or did it feel off course?
No, this felt like I was going back to what I originally thought of in Lebanon. One of the things I wanted to be was either a foreign correspondent, a journalist, travel writer, diplomat. And I thought, I've been a diplomat now. And this is sort of foreign correspondent-y. If I play my cards right here, I might be able to go off somewhere. So that was in my mind. I loved politics. I wasn't political. I didn't give a shit about either side. But I just liked being in the thick of it. And I was there when John Major resigned. I ended up in 10 Downing Street Garden, like when he resigns and says to the bastards, go on, stand against me. And I'm like, I'm fucking here. I'm in the middle of history and stuff. And all that was going really well. And they started giving me little interview segments, and I would go and get the funny stories. And I was interviewing David Mellor about football hooliganism, and I got some friends to play football in the background. And I told them that when I scratched my head, he was going to pass. They were going to pass me the ball, and I'd kick it back. It'd be a nice little moment. They twatted the ball. It twatted David Mellor in the face, broke his glasses. It was fucking hilarious. So ITN put that straight out, not realising that I'd set it up. And then I got fired because of that. And that's how I ended up.
You got fired when they found out that you had set it up?
Yeah.
Why did they find out, if you can say, why did they find out you had set it up?
Because that was about the fourth time that I'd come back with something quite interesting. I'd interviewed Paddy Ashdown, and in the background, their clown fight started. All these things were kind of good metaphors, because what I realised was the news doesn't care where images come from, but just when they're giving a boring news story, if something happens that's like, and meanwhile, they say Parliament's a bit of a clown, well, look what happened today. So I chased Jeffrey Archer down a street once, dressed as a monkey, throwing bananas at him, and this guy from the BBC said, we're filming this for Newsnight, you have to tell me where you're from, otherwise I can't show it. And I just said nothing. And of course they fucking showed it with no explanation, because they can't resist that shit. So they're just doing a story about Jeffrey Archer, and then there's just a monkey throwing bananas at him.
That's very mischievous, and you've not really.
I'm an absurdist.
Unless I missed something.
I'm an absurdist.
When you're at boarding school, you've not given me any examples of this. When does this stop? Because that's absolutely. I mean, that's fucking bonkers.
I think I was a rebel. I was
a correspondent for the news. Yeah. You're setting up clown fights in the background. What are you doing, man?
I think I was. I think it was part of just not fitting in, just thinking none of this is real. Like it's just I can't it's sort of imposter syndrome. It's like I shouldn't be here, so let's fucking enjoy it. I don't know. I wasn't. So the question everyone always asks me is like, oh, did you used to make apple pie beds at school? It's like, no,
sure.
It wasn't a practical joke in any way like that. It's absurdism. That's what it is. And if that comes from my Belgian thing, from even Tintin. If you really read Tintin, it's fucking surreal, and it's like a sort of another layer of. Trigger Happy was always supposed to be a sort of a surreal life multiverse going on just below the surface. We never said this because we sound like ponces, and occasionally it would pop up into real life. That's kind of the idea behind it. And if you read Tintin or Asterix or Lucky Luke or any of those things, there's a very surreal tinge to it, and that's what I always felt. I don't know.
Just quickly on its on the side, did you like Peter Jackson and Spielberg's Tintin?
No, I didn't. I couldn't bear it. Yeah. I mean, firstly, I was angry and bitter because I think Joe from Adam and Joe wrote part of that, and I go, why is he doing that? I should be doing it.
Right.
And I just felt Tintin was mine. I didn't want Spielberg doing it. And also it did that Uncanny Valley thing where it's not almost real, but it's not.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
I didn't like it at all, and I'm glad that crashed and burned.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Glad I cleared that up.
I hate other people who are successful. I can't bear it.
Yeah. No,
we all do.
We all do. Don't worry. So let's just carry on where we were then. So you get sacked from ITN, was it?
I get sacked from ITN, and I think, right, I've realised. And what's funny is all the people working on me at that time in ITN, most of them stayed at ITN in news. Yeah, so I now see them 30 years later in news. So I sort of think if I'd have stayed, that's where I'd be. Like I'd be doing the Today programme.
Of course
you
would.
It's really weird seeing that. And I remember thinking, no, I don't want to do that. That's fine. Although now I think, I'd have a pension and things like that, which just keeps going back to me. But I realised that I liked being in the thick of things, but I wasn't a team player. Like I wasn't prepared just to be the conveyor of news. I wanted to be the news, I think. I wanted to do something. And so I thought I'd get into political documentaries. There's a guy called Michael Cockrell made these amazing documentaries about politicians. And so I sent CV off to him and to other production companies making documentaries. And one of them, by chance, went to this company called Lawless, and they were making a show called the Mark Thomas Comedy Product. And it was Mark Thomas, the stand-up's first show. Yeah. It's like an early Michael Moore show. And they took me on because I had political experience, and he was like taking the piss out of MPs and stuff.
Yeah.
And the first day I was there, like we drove stuff through a McDonald's drive-through, a tank, a clown car, a burger van. I just remember thinking, I'd pay you to let me do this. And I realised this is what I want to do. Like, it's fucking amazing.
That's brilliant.
I loved it. But I was shit as a researcher. I just wanted to fuck about, and they didn't have much money. So all the VTs, I'd end up going to do them, and more. And I started doing ones on my own without even Mark in them. The very first one I ever did, I pitched it to Mark, and it had no point to it, so he wasn't interested. So I dressed up as a schoolboy with a football, and I went to Wormwood Scrubs, Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, and Number 10, and I just hoofed the ball into the garden and then went up to the police and go, "Excuse me, can my ball back, please?" And on the tannoy of Wormwood Scrubs go, "Fuck off." Kensington Palace didn't answer. Buckingham Palace, the police went to the garden and gave me my ball back. And then number 10, an armed policeman came out with a gun. It's all on film. Makes me lie on the ground.
What?
Yeah. And I'm going, he goes, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?" I go, "Sorry." He goes, "Stop doing that stupid voice. Sorry. And then he goes, "You could have been an IRA terrorist doing that." I go, "Well, that's unlikely, isn't it?" Like that. So that was the first thing I ever did on telly.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. And that went out on Mark Thomas Comedy Product. And it just, no one ever sort of said, "Who's that?" or "Why is that?" It just didn't fit with the rest of the show. And so when I finished Mark, I saw an advert in a newspaper, and I don't know anyone's ever got a job from a newspaper. It was in The Guardian, and it said, "Do you have a sense of humour? This new channel setting up called the Paramount Comedy Channel." And I went there, and it was just showing things like Friends and Frasier and stuff, but in between the shows, all these people were doing weird shit. Like Little Britain were called Mash and Peas then, and were doing stuff. Asylum was there, which was pre-Mighty Boosh. Lee Francis was in the... It was crazy. And so that's when I ended up started to do my own stuff.
Right. That was because the Paramount Comedy Channel would play the Comedy Store TV show.
That's
and
right.
Jongleurs.
That's right, yeah.
Jongleurs.
And also just sort of American shows. But they had these things called interstitials, which we made it bigger and bigger. And I pitched this thing. I said, let's call it World of Paramount. We've got all these people here. And anyone that films something funny will have little 4-minute segments that go out, and they can be anything between the main shows. And those started to get really culty. Like Noel Gallagher, I met him once. He said, "Oh, we used to watch your stuff." And that's just the idea of Young Oasis watching my stuff. Like, I can't do the accent, but "Look, our kid," I can't do it. But, that's funny, our kid. I can't do it.
Okay, yes, that's great.
So there was a sort of logic to it. And then Channel 4, so then but most of my stuff was political. I was showing how smart I was and satirical, and I was having a go at Tony Blair's Call Britannia. And
did you feel passionately about that?
No,
or
not,
no.
I didn't feel, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to bring down the man.
Call Britannia,
it was just I wanted to cause chaos.
Yes.
I wanted just everywhere to be something odd happening. Every news event, we realised that every time there was a fucking news event, all the news vans turn up, and they're looking for something to film. So we would just provide absurdist content. So when Mohammed Al Fayed when William Hague had his stag party, we sent in strippers. When we sent strippers to attack him as he was going into thing. When Mohammed Al Fayed went to court, we just turned up as a bunch of teddy bears supporting him, saying we were Harrods teddy bears. When Michael Portillo ran to be leader of the Tory party, because he's Spanish, his dad was Spanish. This is a bit racist, but we turned up as a mariachi band and pretended that we were the Mexican part of the Portillo family supporting him. There was no point to it, but everyone thought there must be a point. Like so everyone used to, like, The Guardian would write, like, who's funding this? Nobody. He was just stupid.
That's fantastic. Just quickly, Seann here, just to let you know, in case you don't know already, I am currently on tour. Shows are selling out, extra dates are being put on, but if you go to seannwalsh.com, I'm all around England, and I'm a couple of dates in Wales as well throughout the rest of the year. Go to seannwalsh.com for tickets. The show's called This Is Torture. I'd love for you to come along, and hopefully I'll see you there. Well, a couple of things to clear up then before you go.
Yeah.
So, all right. These heads that you walked past when you were younger, in what context were you walking past 7 heads?
Someone had brought a head into school in a plastic bag.
I actually had read that and thought that was one of your kind of made up stories.
No, someone had. I honestly, I was so young, I can't remember. But someone had been executed, and weirdly,
Christ.
This makes Lebanon look like Iran. It's not a beheading place, like it's not that sort of place.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but someone brought it into school and a show and tell.
Right.
I don't know. And
we had Pokemon.
Yes, I know. I'm
and
sure.
You had severed
well,
heads.
You know what? There's just different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you probably don't have PTSD, so there you go.
I do, but for something very, very strange, possibly stranger.
I think the young gentleman in question was whisked out of the school quite quickly. So,
yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. And you told us that that you had the the things, the wonderful things
the beauty.
for the beauty.
Yeah.
And I asked you, did you ever actually film one? And you said that you did.
I did.
In one instance, and it caused.
I think it caused pretty much the end of my comedy career on TV. So I'd moved.
I'm always seeing you on things. Don't say that.
Oh no,
I'm
but
always
just
seeing you on.
I go to football shows and things, but it's not. No one gives me £1 million and says go and be.
No one gets £1 million, Dom, on telly anymore. There isn't £1 million in telly.
I feel Ramesh Ranganathan's been given £1 million.
Ramesh probably gets £1 million. Right?
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
He did this.
Did he?
There you go.
I like
So
Ramesh. I have to say, I think he's funny. What was I saying? Yes. So Trigger Happy finishes. I sign a 3-series deal with the BBC.
Yes.
2 of those is my spoof chat show, which no one understands, and I'm having a great time. I'm having The Cure on, but I'm disrespecting The Cure so much that the Cure fans are like harassing me because I'm eating a sandwich while I'm interviewing Robert Smith and all this sort of stuff. I'm making.
You're having a good time, but can I ask you? Did you know that it was good?
No. I thought I was having a good time, and I think I'd got a bit up my own arse.
Okay.
And I think I was just self-indulgent. I was making a show that was making me laugh, but I think I'd forgotten about what made other people laugh.
Yeah.
I just thought this is fine.
Yeah.
And no one really said no. And Sam left halfway through, and Sam was always my balance.
Was that because of creative differences?
No, I think it was because when Sam and I were making Trigger Happy, it was just me and him. The moment you get successful and you go to the BBC, suddenly there's like 40 people there. Of course. And suddenly Sam's role was not by me, but was being dissipated. The BBC would go, I think we need a series producer. And he just got pissed off, and fair enough. So anyway, I get left with one show left to make. And I think, fuck, I'm fucking up my BBC thing. I'd better make another Trigger Happy, basically. But I can't call it Trigger Happy. And I like travel. So I'll call it World Shut Your Mouth. And I'll go around the world and I'll just do a global prank show. And of course, what I did do was I just went around the world, but didn't really film many jokes. I just had quite fun. And it was all going quite badly. So I went all the way to Newfoundland just to frighten an Eskimo. I literally flew all the way there, drove 5 hours out of St. John's, finally found an Eskimo sitting on a little chair, ice fishing. And I crept up behind him with cymbals, made him jump, and then we just flew back to England. And so when I got to the head of BBC One, she goes, sorry, you've just been all the way to Newfoundland and that's all you've done, you've just frightened an Eskimo. And I said yes. And she said I think really this is probably going to end now. And then she realised that they'd committed to this show. And I said, is there anything I can do to save the show? Because she said, well, this is not going to work. It was going on BBC One. Like, this is Jane Root watching this here. And she said, she said, have you got something really strong to put at the beginning of each show? Something that just, grabs people in so that the weirdness later, they don't worry about it too much. And I said, yes, I do. And she said, what is it? And I said, I'm afraid I can't really explain to you the joke because I don't want to tell you the joke. I can't explain the joke. You're just going to have to trust me. And
she said that to a commissioner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was a big cheese at that stage. And she said, well, what is it? And I said, well, firstly, I just want you to know, because I was going through a period of what I called pure comedy. And so when I went to Newfoundland, like normally you go to Newfoundland, frighten an Eskimo, you film some other stuff just to make it worthwhile. I said, no, to make it proper comedy, travel vast distances, make a massive effort, do something totally pointless. I had to just do that. So she's already fucked off of that. Yes, I said, so this one, again, I'll just be doing this one joke, but it involves me, and this is absolute God's honest truth. And this is for the beauty. So it involves me going around the world in one uninterrupted trip to all 7 wonders of the world, yeah? And she goes, what will you be doing there? And I said, I'm afraid I can't tell you, but I will be doing just the same joke at each place, each wonder of the world, and nothing else. But that's why it's brilliant, because people will think, fuck, he's gone all the way there just to do that. And I could see her just thinking, is there any way we can get out of this contract with this moron? But in the end, and in what the Daily Mail called the single biggest waste of the licence fee payers' money, I got myself and a very happy film crew got sent round the world to all 7 wonders of the world. We went to the pyramids of Giza. We went to Angkor Wat in Cambodia. We went to the Great Wall of China. We went to the Grand Canyon, the Colosseum, and the Taj Mahal, all to do this one joke. And basically the joke, so the Taj Mahal, we turn up at dawn, and it's just beautiful. It's fucking amazing. And I'm just standing there. I'm dressed in slightly Indian-y clothing, which now looking at it, it's quite inappropriate. Yeah. And I wait, and a tourist turns out, one of the first of the day, and she's standing looking at that view, and I sidle up to her, and it's just this beautiful shot. And I go, the Taj Mahal. And she goes, yeah, it's kind of ethereal. And there's a long pause, and then I go, that is shit. No, just walk off. And I did that at all 7 wonders of the world. And that started from when we were in the van. When we'd see something just indescribably, obviously brilliant, we'd all just go, that is shit, yeah? And it spiraled. So it ended up with me going back to the head of BBC One, and she said, let me get this absolutely straight. We've just sent you and a film crew all the way around the world, and I noticed 2 of the flights were first class, to the 7 wonders of the world, and you've just stood in front of each one, waited for an individual to turn up, and you've just said, that is shit. And that's it. I said, yeah, it's quite strong, isn't it? And she didn't say anything. She just left the room. And 2 days later, when I turned up at the BBC at Television Centre, I had a card. Didn't work. I'd been electronically cancelled, so much so, I wasn't allowed back into the BBC. I had to join a public tour of the BBC television building to empty my office. And then I left show business.
That's the perfect ending.
I still think it's the greatest joke I've ever done. One day people will realise.
Is that on the internet?
Yes, it's on the internet.
YouTube that?
Yeah, you can YouTube it. It's Well Shut Your Mouth. And it's
oh,
not.
Well,
I don't think it is. Yeah,
I like it.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Tom Joly. Is there anything you want to tell us about?
Yeah.
What have you got coming up?
Well, I'm doing something which sounds like, if you like comedy, you shouldn't go and see, but you should. Trigger Happy's 25 years old.
Yes.
And so I'm doing a retrospective, a nostalgia fest. Basically, Sam, who I made Trigger Happy with, is on the spectrum, has kept all the rushes.
That's
and so we've been through all the rushes, and we found like the very first thing we ever filmed for Trigger Happy, which sums up Trigger Happy from the first go. It's me dressed as a womble on Wimbledon Common, having a nervous breakdown and swearing and littering, and with Baby Bird on top. That is Trigger Happy.
Perfect.
So, so I'm doing the 25th anniversary, 100 tours, 100
shows,
dates around the UK, and it's just basically all the questions anyone's ever asked me about Trigger Happy, which I answer. Lots of funny clips, plus new stuff.
Great. Perfect. Go and see it.
Yeah, or don't.
That bit too.
Obviously do.
Yeah. That's everything with Dom. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I really felt that he fit the remit of the show. I really saw how how his childhood really came to influence, and his youth certainly came to influence his work and what he went on to do, and the great success that he is. Don't forget that on patreon.com/classclown you can get more from Dom as he answers your questions, and we'll see you next week for more Class Clown. I'm Seann Walsh. Take care. Goodbye.